Hi, I'm Mark Mancini from VRBO Outstanding and Vacation Home Mastery. This week, I'm going to show you the HandShow running boards, the installation, and how they work. So stay tuned. And welcome back. Now, as you know, I'm a 35-year pickup truck owner. My previous trucks, my Tundra Platinum series, a 4-door, had running boards on them. It came like that from Toyota. And Cybertruck doesn't have that. Now, you can raise and lower the height, okay? And while that's great, it will lower for you to get out. It's still a bit high for some people, especially if you have a children or a wife who maybe isn't as tall as you. It makes it harder to get in. So these running boards, as you can see, make it real easy to pop right in. Now, you'll see they have the triangular Cybertruck looking shape on them, which is kind of cool. That's your look of your Cybertruck from the side with the windows. And these are durable. The great thing is, no drilling's required, super easy to go in. And I'm going to show you how to install these a lot better than the instructions they gave you, because I've learned a couple tricks. Now, one more time before we go into the installation of these, I think we're about $800 from HandShow. We have a link below. We also have a coupon code for you as well, but these are sturdy. And as you can see, once I go ahead and close the door here, it's got a nice smooth look. It looks very much like it came from the factory like this, right? So awesome job they did. And we're gonna go over how to install them, because if you're interested in these and you click on the link below and get that promo code, you're gonna wanna know how to install these, and I'm gonna save you a whole lot of time. So first thing I want you to do, remember, you have to disconnect your charging if you wanna raise the height. Now, since we're going underneath the truck, you're gonna want this at the maximum height. So the good thing is you're able to go into controls and raise your height to high. Now this is set on high, okay? Makes it real easy to get into. The unit comes in this big box, which is gonna be heavy, and your FedEx guy is gonna hate you. Oh well. So what I did was I opened it up, and then inside there were other boxes. Now this is the actual running board itself. Just so you know, the running boards, okay, there's no right or left on the running boards. So whichever side you want to put whichever one on, you can put either on either side. On the smaller box though, you've got your brackets. Your brackets are side specific. These on the passenger side are labeled R, okay? Now, on the driver's side, it's labeled L. So if you're in the driver's seat, makes sense, L, R. Now, they're also numbered 1 through 4, okay? And they are gonna be important that you put them in the right order. R1 is at the rear portion. R2 is the next one, going towards the front. R3 over here, and then R4 is at the front. Same thing on the left. The L4 is at the front, the L1 is at the rear. So it goes from 4, 3, 2, 1 from front to rear. Now, they do give you the tools you need as far as sockets to use it yourself. But if you've got, I love the Milwaukee. You can use a pneumatic gun, or you can just use a ratchet if you want. I love these. If you don't have one of these are awesome. I do a lot of jet ski repair, so this is kind of second nature. But you can easily do this. Now, if you do use your own Milwaukee, the two sizes you need is a 10 millimeter and a 13 millimeter, okay? 10 and 13, that's it. Now, all the parts are separated by what they're for. Now this bag right here, that's got these brackets, this is for the very end. So we're just gonna put that over on the side and not worry about that. Another bag just has these washers. We're gonna put those right here. Another bag has these spacers. We're gonna put those right here, okay? Now this other bag has all the rest of your bolts and washers, okay? Now we're gonna empty those out right here. Try not to lose any parts. Okay, couple things. I like setting everything up ahead of time so you don't have to futz around with it. So this right here is your 10mm long bolt. This is what's called a lock washer. Okay, they call them a spring washer in the instructions. It's a lock washer. Goes in here like this, and then you've got this spacer over here. As you can see, this fits nice and tight. This other one is too loose, okay? So this very small hole one is for the 10mm. So you get that long tail 10mm with the lock washer, and then the washer, just do that. And you're gonna do this for 4 of them. And this is per side, so it's 4 on each side. Okay, once you've set that in place, you've got that over there. And you're gonna put these next to the spacers because they're gonna go together. We're gonna show you that in just a second. You then have your 13mm bolt. And now these, same thing, you're gonna put your lock washers, and you've got a little bit bigger size lock washer in first. They call it a spring washer, it's a lock washer. And then the bigger washer over here. And we'll put that over here to the side. And the same thing, we're looking for the lock washers that are a little bigger. So you get your thick washer over at the end on these 13mm ones. Okay. Now, the very first thing you have to do is get your 10mm socket on, because there's 10 bolts you'll have to remove. How those brackets go into place, you take out 4 10mm bolts from your truck, and there's a spot there for your 13s that nothing's attached to. So let's go underneath the car, which you're gonna have to trust me on this. They're spaced about equally this far apart, and you're gonna see, I'm gonna take this and look underneath here if I can. See, there's a recessed, I'm not gonna be able to see. That right there, that bolt, that is what you need to remove. There's 4 of them equidistant. So there's a recessed, you'll see a round opening, and it's recessed back there, and there's a silver washer and bolt. There's 4 of these, and they're pretty much here, 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 and there. It's very much equal in distance. I'm gonna put these right in front of where they are so that you see whereabouts on your truck they are. This install is not going to take you long at all. Once you take these 4 bolts off, then there's 8 bolts that go in. These are your silver bolts, so you might make sure you take off the right ones. It's pretty obvious, there's only these 4 that are in there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 1 set at a time. I'm gonna get the spacer, the 10mm we set up, and the 13mm we set up. And I'm just gonna do 1 at a time for each. I'm gonna grab my 13mm, and here's the secrets of what you're gonna wanna do. These go in just like this, okay? This one right here is the one where the spacer is going to go for your 10mm, and this is where your 13mm is going to go. That has the empty spot already. This just rests underneath the bottom battery of it, and this is what attaches to your running board right here, these 2 openings, okay? So where you see R4 on here is going to be upside down. That's fine. Now, here's the trick with getting these on that I kind of learned, it's going to make your job a lot easier. So you put down your long 10, get your 13, and get your spacer. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you put this spacer in first, and then just put the bracket right there to kind of block it. And then you're going to go to where the 13 millimeter hole is, which is right over here. It's hard to see with my glasses like this, but give me a second. There we go. And you're going to finger tighten these about, I don't know, half a dozen turns. And some of these brackets, all these brackets are shaped a little different. That's why I have to make sure you put them in the right order. So some of these brackets, like the first one, is going to be a little more challenging than the last one because of where they're located. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to switch hands because this isn't working as well on this side for me like it worked on the driver's side. So there we go. It's about 6 turns, so it's a little snug. And when you do that, you have to still hold the spacer in right here. You're then going to get your 10 millimeter and you're going to finger tighten it in. And please do not use a ratchet or a gun to first start it. Always finger tighten it first. So there it is, finger tightened. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my 10 millimeter and I'm going to tighten this to about 90%, no more. Do not go all the way tight. Whoop. Helps if I go in. So as you can hear, it's about 90% tight. Going to go ahead and switch to 13. Tighten this all the way. Boom. Go back to the 10. Tighten this all the way. There we go. All right, 1 done, 4 to go. Now the next one should go a lot easier. So what I'm going to do, and this is why I am dressed like this, because I is going to be under a car and I did not want to get good clothes all dirty. Especially the last time I did a video, I was in a white shirt. That would have looked horrible. All right. So again, brackets go in this way with the R3 facing downward. This holds your running board in place. What I'm going to do is get the spacer in the 13. Put the spacer right here. Goes right in that spot where I just pulled that 10 millimeter bolt from. And then I'm going to finger tighten the 13. About half a dozen turns. Just like that. Going to go ahead and get the 10. Finger tighten that about half a dozen turns. Beautiful. Tighten to 90%. Get the 13 and tighten that to 100%. And then I'm going to completely tighten the 10. There we go. As you can see, this is going in pretty quickly. If you prep everything and stage everything ahead of time, this will go a lot smoother than if you just kind of hack at it and do it each time. Trust me on this. I've learned from the other side. Makes it a lot easier, a lot quicker. Alrighty. Again, the spacer goes in from where you took that 10 millimeter off. On this side, you'll see these two are now on the same side. They're not on opposite sides. These go in a lot easier on the rear ones. And I'm going to finger tighten the 13. I'm going to get the 10. That's finger tightened in. I'm going to go to 90% on the 10. Goes straight to 100%. And there we go. And as you can see, each time, if you want to test it, it's right in there, really, really, really strong. Now again, here we are, we're at the very end. You can see minutes this is taking. Again, the rear side, it goes in both on the same side. Spacer goes where you took that 10mm out. Just hold it in place there as kind of a guide. Finger tighten your 13 in place about half a dozen times. Get your 10mm. And what you'll see is probably if you follow my instructions and not the instructions in the guide or the video, by the time you do the second one, it takes you no time at all. Now again, it also helps if you have one of these versus having a hand ratchet or the tool that comes with it. I probably wouldn't recommend buying it just for this, but if you do any other kind of work around your house and jet skis, these are a lifesaver. All right, well, there you go. Brackets are all in. You're almost done. Look at that. Okay. Now, we're going to leave the 13mm on because that's what we need to attach to the running boards. We had that bag of brackets. What we're going to do is leave those right off to the side, actually, and put it right on the box so we don't miss it. Now, this is the important part that no one tells you, and I will, because I want you to appreciate the fact that I saved you 10%, and I got you to install this thing correctly one time without pulling your hair out. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to rest it on these brackets, kind of like this, and give it a good ballpark of how it lines up like that, okay? And I'm a little anal retentive, so here's what you're going to do. You are not going to tighten each one each time. Do not do that, okay? You're going to put the brackets in and just very loosely finger tighten all of them first. And then you're going to line it up, make sure it's perfect, and then you're going to start tightening it because this is going to get you that perfect look and finish that you deserve. So the first thing you're going to do is prep everything. So we're going to get all 4 brackets out. And now you've got your 4 nuts. You've got your 4 washers. And you're going to have 4 lock washers. Now, it's actually 8, right? It's not 4, so it's 8. So you got 4 here, and you got 4 here. And there we go. Okay. We may be short a lock washer. Nope, we got one right here. Perfect. So what I want to do is I want to separate them all. Okay, this is what I mean by prep work. It makes life a lot easier. So you just grab one handful each time in one place. Okay, I've got 8 sets. I've got my 4 brackets. So first, what you're gonna, and it's gonna be hard to see, but I'm gonna talk about it. This is gonna go in here like this, but there's, let's see, how can I explain it? There's an L shape on each side, like this, and this is gonna rest on the L's, like that, in there. So you're gonna have to wiggle it in there, and this is another reason why you do not tighten anything, okay? Because you have to wiggle it and move it to get that bracket in. And just place the bracket there. Forget about this other stuff for now. Let's just get these brackets in place. Because you don't want to have to install it and uninstall it 3 or 4 different times. You want to do it one time and do it right. And this is why I'm showing you these shortcuts. Well, they're not really shortcuts. It's doing it right one time. And this is where you're gonna have to jiggle it a little bit. If it takes you a minute or two, that's fine. Take your time. There's no rush. There we go. All right, and now the last one. And also, I'm going to tell you another little secret, because not every piece of metal is bent 100% the exact same way. And since I don't want you to get upset with me or at HandShow for their product, if you go to install the washer and the nut and it doesn't fit, I'm going to show you how to easily correct that, because it's no big deal. Now, those brackets, and I don't know if you can tell by going underneath here, they're right here. There's kind of hanging underneath there. And I'm going to see if I can get the camera and show you. But there's the two parts of that bracket right there. Right there. See those two right there? That's a bracket right there. Okay. That's right there. I'm moving it right there. So now you can see there's a gap right here on this one especially, right? See this gap? So if I were to put in the washers and the nut right here, there's going to be nothing for it to grab onto. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to fix that. Okay? So what you're going to do, just so you know ahead of time, you're actually going to put the nut on first and tighten it up, and it's going to bring it nice and flush on only one of them. Once you do that, you'll be able to do the other one, and then you just undo this one and put those washers on there, because this gap needs to be tightened up. The only way to do that is to tighten. So you can start anywhere you want, but first what I want to do, let's go on the top here. I want to line up this running board. I want to look where it sits with the door. See, if you look over here, see this gap right here? I want to close that gap. I want to have it kind of look flush with the door, but not too far in. I want to make sure this looks as perfect as possible. And this is why you do it this way. They don't tell you this in the instructions or in the video on their website. Hopefully this replaces that video, because I think this is a better way to do it. Okay, so it's nice and loose. It looks very flush. Okay, if you're like me, I think I'm perfect on that, right? So you have a whole set right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for the one that's down as far as possible, and that's this one up front. I'm gonna get both sets, and I'm going to put one set right here, and I'm gonna finger tighten the first one. I'm gonna put the washer in, then the lock washer, then the nut, and I'm gonna just a couple turns and finger tighten it. That's it. I'm gonna do the back one. Now, you can do all these right now in a row, or what I usually do is I'll go ahead and I'll tighten the one so that in case I hit it, it won't come out of place. So I just want to make sure I'm fully lined up. And again, I am anal retentive. So I want to make sure this is perfect, because my wife will see something off and she'll yell at me. No, she won't. She loves me. So I go back underneath here, make sure I got this on tighten. I'm going to tighten this first one up, just about 90%. And then the second one I'm going to do 100%. And go back to 100% in the first one. All right, I'm going to double check to make sure nothing moved or slid. No, it all looks good. Then I'm going to look for the next one. See this one? The nut doesn't come down far enough. We're going to have to, that one and that one. This back one. This back one looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna grab two sets. I'm gonna go back here. And again, washer, lock washer, and then nut. Of course, I dropped everything. That's okay. This is going together pretty smooth, and this is about how long it takes. Again, it took me a lot longer the first time because I wanted to figure out the best way for you guys to install it, and I think that's what I did. So if you guys follow these instructions, this is going to be about a half-hour install tops. Okay, washer, lock washer, and or spring washer as they call it, and the nut. First one goes to 90%, second one to 100. All right, then we'll go back to the first one to 100%. Now we got the front and back one in perfectly, so now we just have to get the middle. Now the middle, I'm gonna grab 2 sets. We told you that it's a little snug, okay? This one, let's see if we have enough room. No, it's gonna be snug here. So what's gonna happen is I'm not gonna be able to finger tighten the nut because we've got a gap right here between the bracket and the running board, and that's normal, that's fine. So go ahead and put just a washer. You don't need the lock washer right now. Put the washer in and the nut and tighten it all the way up. And by doing that, that takes away this gap right here in the running board. So now you can go back to the front one. You've got a whole lot of thread to manually do this now. And go straight to 100% on that one. We're going to remove this back one. Now that we have thread, we just have to put the lock washer back on here. And there we go. Now this last one, we still have a gap over here. We're going to have to do the same thing. Again, no big deal. This is how you work around it. And this is why I'm somewhat mechanical. And my wife likes that about me. So, we don't have enough thread to get one of these in. So I'm going to go ahead and put the big washer in, finger tighten it, and then tighten it. It pulls it down. There's no gap there. Now I can put this one on the back with the big washer, the lock washer, and the nut. Finger tighten a few times. Go ahead and do a full tight. Okay, remove that washer and the nut. And we have to put this back on with the lock washer. Now we've got a whole lot of thread. We can actually install it. But because everything isn't always 100%, there's gonna be some gappage. This is why you have to do it, to tighten it up, because this metal is you can't squeeze it in. You're not gonna be able to do that. I tried. Boom. That is it. Oh my God, Mark, it was that easy? Yes, it was that easy. So now, open the door. The running board, look at that. It holds my weight. I'm 200 pounds, okay? I know, it should be about 6 feet tall, but I'm not. I'm 5'8", I'm just a little stout. And these running boards, my HandShow, are durable. They're sleek looking. They have the nice looking look of the Cybertruck, right? With the triangle type look. And now if your wife wants to get in or your kids want to get in, it's too big of a height. Because some people drive around with the comfort level up real high, and getting in, because this is at the full height, makes it easy to step in and get into your truck. Now, when it's at the low level, okay, and you really probably don't need that, but usually not everyone always rides in beast mode. So if we go to the front of the car and kind of look backwards at the vehicle, there's your running boards. Nice, it looks factory showroom right there, right? Look at that. How long did that take you to do one side? The other side will take you less time. So that's it. Remember, hit the link below, hit the coupon so you save you 10%, and just follow these instructions. Put any comments down below. If you went ahead and got it, let me know. Send pictures, make comments, suggestions, anything else, and we'll see you again next time. So thanks for joining us, and we're going to see you next week for some more reviews on more Tesla Cybertruck products.